The phone buzzed while I was still standing on the sidewalk, cake frosting drying on my knuckles like chalk. Unknown number. I didn't answer at first. I watched the house through the front window, the place I'd paid for, painted, repaired. Inside, laughter tried to pretend it wasn't sharp. Her voice cut through it anyway, confident, relieved. "Thanks for accepting my new boyfriend into our open marriage." She'd said it like a toast. At my birthday. I'd smiled, lifted my glass. Then I said, calmly, "Then I'm single," and I walked out. 30 minutes later, the phone buzzed again. "It's Maya. Please don't block me. You deserve to know." My thumb hovered. The night air felt surgical, precise. I already knew something was wrong. Not the obvious wrong. Something underneath that. Something rehearsed. I answered. Her message arrived in pieces, like she was afraid of forming the whole sentence at once. "She didn't tell you the rules changed months ago." Pause. "You weren't part of it." Another pause. "And he isn't the first." The streetlight hummed. My heartbeat didn't. I leaned against my car and felt the last decade compress into a single point. Every compromise, every later, every quiet agreement to swallow what tasted off. This wasn't about humiliation. This was about design, and suddenly I could see the blueprint. We'd called it an open marriage because it sounded adult, ethical, clean, rules, transparency, consent. That was the language she used when she wanted something framed as mutual. What Maya's texts revealed, slowly, apologetically, was a private amendment, one I never signed. The openness hadn't been negotiated. It had been declared, quietly, selectively. I replayed the last year with new subtitles. Her phone face down at night, the way she'd stopped asking where I was going, how birthdays became group events, never just us, how she'd told me I was too grounded to need details. Grounded meant controllable. Maya didn't defend herself. She didn't dramatize. She just sent dates, names, screenshots without commentary. I felt the shock arrive late, like sound after an explosion. Then denial tried to speak. Maybe it's exaggerated. Maybe she's jealous. But the details were too mundane to be invented. Grocery store selfies, calendar invites mislabeled as yoga, jokes I'd never been meant to hear. I didn't cry. I cataloged. Betrayal isn't loud when you're built for endurance. It's administrative. And once I understood that I wasn't a partner anymore, I was infrastructure. I stopped reacting. I started planning. I went home the next morning and made coffee, kissed her cheek, listened. She talked about the party, about how brave I'd been. I nodded. I archived. While she showered, I checked our shared tablet. Cloud syncs are generous with secrets. Deleted messages aren't deleted everywhere. Phone records confirmed patterns, the same numbers, the same nights I'd worked late to pay for a life she was outsourcing. I didn't confront. I observed. I noted how often she borrowed my car, how often she forgot her ring, how her boyfriend, latest, not last, used my guest towels. Maya filled in the gaps when I needed context. She hated herself for it. I didn't ask her to stop. I wasn't hunting pain. I was assembling proof. There's a calm that comes when rage is organized, when it stops asking why and starts asking how long. By the time I had the full timeline, I could breathe again, because the truth was no longer slippery, it was documented. I asked my wife to meet me for dinner, neutral ground, public, predictable. I slid a folder across the table, not thick, efficient. She smiled at first, then she opened it. The color drained slowly, like ink diluted in water. I said nothing. I didn't need to. The timestamp spoke, the cross-references. Maya's name appeared once, quietly absolving herself. My wife tried to laugh. "You went through my things?" I met her eyes. "You went through my life." Her hands shook. Tears came on cue, late to their own funeral. "It didn't mean anything," she said. That was the lie she chose. I let her have it. I stood, placed my card on the table, and leaned close enough that only she could hear me. "The house is in my name," I said. "The account you've been using ends tonight. The open marriage you announced doesn't exist anymore." She reached for my arm. I stepped back. "I accepted your boyfriend," I continued, calm as a ledger, "the way you accepted me, as background." I walked out while she was still trying to negotiate terms that had already expired. By the time I got home, the locks were changed. The lawyers were notified. Maya sent one final, "I didn't miss her." I missed the version of myself who thought sacrifice guaranteed safety. That man is gone. What's left doesn't ask for permission, doesn't toast betrayal, doesn't confuse endurance with love. On my next birthday, I turned off my phone and sat alone in the quiet I earned, and for the first time, nothing in my life was being shared without my consent.